On your mark, get set. We're riding on the internet, cyberspace set free. Hello, virtual reality.
Interactive appetite, searching for a website, a window to the world, got to get online.
Take a spin, now you're in with the techno set. You're going surfing on the internet.
Whether you're new to the internet or been surfing online since the pre-Y2K era, you've always viewed it through a web browser. These little things are the windows into whatever you can find, anywhere you can look. As long as your sister wasn't using the phone too much and whenever you got past those loud modem sounds. Since the dawn of the internet, people used whatever browser they saw fit. Whether it's the AOL browser, or perhaps the good old Internet Explorer, or later Microsoft Edge. There's Google Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Opera, Opera Gamers Edition, DuckDuckGo, hold on, what else is there? Sea Monkey? Basilisk? WebOS? What about Florp? How about Florp? We all love Florp here, folks. Internet channel for the Nintendo Wii. However, there was this one browser that was kind of left to the wayside, but archived recordings have started to resurface. That web browser being Nufox. It wasn't all that popular, and any and all support for it died thanks to its 2000s update where they just decided to autoplay a video that you just couldn't stop or click out, and brought along this annoying fox mascot that was everywhere you looked, but a lot of the tools that it had were revolutionary for its time. But other recordings have begun to appear, some that paint a completely different story to what the official sources say. Some about a strange ritual that goes on, some about a weird virus that affects both the PC and the person itself, and some about books that can predict the future. So, I think it's time to have a little look into Nufox web browser and explore the depths within. So let's go down this rabbit hole, shall we? Hi, I'm Meadow. You may not know me, but soon you will. Today we'll be checking out the digital horror series that is kind of early in progress, but I've decided to make this video about because I'm in love with this series so much. That being Nufox web browser. Nufox is created by Sepiatone, and if that name rings any bells for you, they're also the person who made the obscure Animal Crossing OST videos that are really good and have been talked to death by a bunch of my fellow creators on this site. However, that series has unfortunately ended, and what has been birthed in its wake is Nufox. Originally, it was just one video showing a weird virus, but now has expanded into its own thing with a great hook, perfect tension, brilliant sound design, and a horrifying, dark secret to it. I'll be taking a look at all of the videos in the series, giving my thoughts, theories, and dissecting what I think the themes of the series are so far. If you want to see more videos like this, then please give this video a like, a comment, subscribe to my channel, tap the bell for any future videos, yada yada, you get the idea. I have a big project in the works after this one that I'm really excited to get my hands into. Also, worth noting that this isn't a replacement for the content itself. Please give Sepiatone some love, subscribe to them as well, watch the series first. It's not too long and you can blast through those videos within like half an hour, and then come back to this video and we can take a closer look into this all together. You watched through all of it? Good. Now, let's start off with the first video in the series. The first video we'll be talking about is called Butterfly Rot PSA, a warning about a butterfly virus that infects your PC. The video was actually created by Nufox Security, which is the security branch. The lady in the video warns you that there are several stages. The first stage is where the butterfly is shown to the user and appears to be pretty harmless. It also notes to not mistake it for, Bonzi Buddy, which is really funny. After a while, the virus will then progress to stage 2, where multiple butterflies are shown on the screen. It slows down the PC, maybe because there's so many butterflies using up all 32 megabytes of RAM. Remember when RAM was only 32 megabytes? Now you can't even fucking get it at this point, Jesus Christ. However, stage 3 is when it gets strange. Stage 3 is referred to as cocoons, as webs and cocoons start to grow on the screen, and the background itself looks like it's slowly rotting away. The lady even states,
"The victim will not be able to tell something is wrong. Outside influence is required."
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine, just don't remove it or anything Okay, never mind. Stage 4 is referred to as screen tearing, and the screen is a blurry mess filled with cobwebs, cocoons, butterflies. All of the programs and files are unreadable to anyone outside of the victim. The lady informs us that the victim needs to be isolated from the house and that we won't be able to assist them until we get to stage 5. Hatching.
No longer able to perform, the cocoons hatch, butterflies breaking free of the host.
After we have been properly made aware of the virus, we are given a few extra notes to help us with handling this. Butterfly rot is not a computer file you can easily remove. If at stage 3 or prior, simply destroy the infected device until there is nothing left. If the victim is at stage 4 or 5, please stay away from them. Not only is the device contagious, but they are as well. They will not respond to you. Please let go of them. This butterfly rot is a computer virus that infects not only the computer, but the user as well. Considering what happens in stage 5 and no screenshot of the computer is shown, the viewer is meant to believe that the cocoon's hatching isn't from the computer, but from the infected individual. I like the setup because stages 1 and 2 are legit, act as an actual computer virus where I believe it's actually based on a virus called the Butterfly on Desktop virus, where it could cause your PC to slow down, and some people even allege that the butterflies also stole your information as well. Now, you don't need a virus to do that. Companies will just literally do that for you anyway. And before you ask, no, this isn't a segue into a sponsorship read, and even if it was, I wouldn't recommend you those data deletion services anyway. Plus, I am from the UK, so they are forced to delete it if requested anyway, or they will die from 1 billion fines. Computer viruses are always a scary thing, where your computer can just be destroyed within a moment's notice, but this virus affecting both the hardware and the human life as well is even more unsettling. In the description, it actually shows off many of the symptoms that the person may have when going through the stages, where stage 5 is surprisingly absent, perhaps due to the hatching, maybe? And when the video was first uploaded, there was also something else that was added to the description. Found this video on my dad's old work computer. Pretty cool. Came with a document I'll share. The document could be the symptoms that are shown in the description below, or this could be very well be a way for the butterfly rot to spread to another unwitting host. However, this since has been removed since the expansion of the series, so who knows if this is canon to the story or not. Speaking of which, let's move on to the next video. Ritual Broadcast is the longest video in the series, clocking in at 11 minutes long, and it's probably the one to fully hook me into this series as a whole. In the description, we are given some backstory to the video. This is the only known professional, let alone successful, archival recording of an entire mask holder ritual broadcast. The mask holder ritual was an online event that happened once every month until it was manually blocked in July 2000. It is said that those who have succeeded were greatly rewarded. As of January 1st, 2009, mask holder is no longer active and is now safe to view. Please interact with the recording as if mask holder was still watching. After a nice little song plays while you wait for the ritual to begin, you are first informed of its many rules. Make sure the lights are turned off, all doors and windows are closed, your room is quiet, there are no weapons nearby, you are mentally stable. However, there is one that is repeated to you ad nauseum. You are alone. There are also some other minor rules, such as aberration not being allowed for the ritual, which, if you are unaware of what that means, it means a temporary change from the typical or usual way of behaving. After giving you plenty of time to set up your room for the ritual, it then informs you.
This ritual requires your right hand. If your left hand is contact, please sever it up. I'm just kidding.
Okay. It is close to the ritual start, and the final instructions is shared to you. Cover the square with your right hand. Do not look underneath your palm. Do not remove your hand until 5 minutes after the broadcast has ended. Interesting enough, instead of the rule being read verbatim, someone else takes over.
You may remove your hand from the screen once the ritual is finished.
You are given 5 seconds to comply. Then... Okay, so to preserve the intentions of the original video and what it aims to do, I'll be manually blocking the square in the video with this shitty-ass PNG of a right hand that I found on YouTube. If you do want to actually do this yourself, then please go ahead and watch the video and interact with it like it says to do so in the video description. All good? Sweet. Then... the ritual begins.
Hello? I want to look at you. Uncover me, 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 uncover me. Hello, me.
Throughout the whole video, Maskholder tries to trick you to move your hand from the screen using audio cues, flashing a fake mask holder on the screen so that you flinch and, well, bouncing around the screen like a DVD logo. After some time passes, the person running the broadcast decides to play a card game with you, where you track where Maskholder is with the cards, and if you guess wrong, then, well, you're going to see him. After the card game, you are left alone, and Maskholder takes over once more. Take a look around your room. Do you see anything? Look. While this is happening, Maskholder glitches out, playing broken audio of the warning sound effect on repeat, perhaps to distract you, disorient yourself. and get you to look at him. A countdown begins, advising you to look, and look, and look, and look.
It's time for the game show.
Okay, perhaps not. The final event is a game show where the announcer asks you some questions based on the ritual, and you answer them by covering the block with the text that is correct. Questions like, how frequent does this ritual happen? What colors were the card, and what month is this? Then it asks one final question. What is the grand prize of the ritual? This never gets answered, as the mask holder takes over one more time and tries to deceive you, attempting to make you want to see what the prize really is. But after many trials and tribulations, you finally manage to overcome the ritual.
Congratulations, you made it through. Don't
You
forget,
may now take it.
Oh, did you forget the last rule? I want to single out this video because it is a masterclass of tension building, but simply me reading out what happens and showing it to you doesn't do it justice. Why, you may ask? Because of audience participation. You are placed into the ritual itself and following along with the rules, covering the mask holder with your hand to try to avoid being seen by it, and it's just so perfect. The tension building, because it and its many fake outs just adds to it all, and then finally ending on the jump scare at the end is it's just perfect. I honestly wish more internet horror series had audience participation in it to add to the value of the video itself. And while ARGs that require people to crack codes and go outside to collect packages is something that is done and dusted, the horror coming from the audience complying with the rules and adding tension to the video with thoughts of, what happens when it looks at me? I need to put my hand down, it hurts, but you'll see me. And all of that just increases the unsettling atmosphere a ton. Obviously, people can just not follow the rules, and if it solely requires it for its horror, then it could just fall flat. But I think Ritual Broadcast balances itself between the line really well, and I want to give Sepiatone their flowers. So, I think it's time to move on to the next video and answer the question. What happens if it does see you? This is actually an unlisted video that simply contains a preview of the ritual as some sort of trailer for the previous video. Since it's very short, I'll just simply play the video in full.
When the ritual starts, look outside. Isn't it strange? All the lights are gone. That's because your room isn't your house anymore. This ritual can last forever. Take your hand off of the screen. Look. This is the face your family will remember.
In this video, Mask Holder is way more talkative compared to the full ritual video from before, constantly taunting the viewer to take their hand off the screen, claiming how the ritual can last forever. Whether he's telling the truth or not, that remains up to debate. And the threat at the end, well, the description gives us more context for this. He was found dead, lying in the fetal position with his hands spread over his face. A bedsheet was covering it, desperately wrapped together, The autopsy couldn't reveal his cause of death. The pathologist said she couldn't extract the fabric from his face because it had melded to his skin. Against all logic, every muscle was angled upwards as well. It seems like he just did that. During the service, they kept his cuff enclosed. When it arrived earlier, the stain had bled through the sheets. It was a hollow, agonized expression that made the organizers gag. This is what many people believe to be what happens when mask holder finally sees your face. You die with this horrified expression on your face, but something I want to point out is in the previous video, it stated that aberration is not allowed and will destroy you. Well, he was found with a bedsheet covering his face, and his hands were also covering his eyes too. Perhaps this is also what happens when you don't follow the rules. Also, the bedsheet was wrapped together and sticking to his skin. Almost like a cocoon. I don't know, something to think about. NIL Incident Footage is part of the most recent batches of videos posted for the series. This video technically acts as a prologue to the main ideas of the other two main videos, so I won't be discussing it at length since, well, I'll be including it in the discussion of the other two videos. The description of this video reads, "On July 20th, 2000, a man was found dead in his cubicle." The video opens to a recording of someone reading through a book, through some sort of early ebook reader program. As the video progresses, the book begins to describe something of an unfortunate case of workplace bullying.
You never really liked her anyways. No matter where she went, she always seemed to bring misfortune with her. You couldn't help but wonder why she was so unlucky all the time. Part of you was glad she managed to get her own room, far away from your cubicle. Although you were a little jealous. Why didn't you have a room? You've always been working here for much longer than she has. What gives her the right to an office when she's a constant pain to everyone around her?
The book later describes the reader's job as a moderator at a company that has undergone a transformation from something warm and cozy to a cold, sterile environment. During this time, the user begins to click on the question mark, but nothing really happens. The book begins to describe how the reader and their co-workers started to bully and harass the woman, making fun of her and even making her cry. However, after this incident, the reader essentially tries to stop participating in this, but it's described as being hard to do so. Even they consider quitting their job to go somewhere else. However, near the end, the book finally breaks the fourth wall completely and begins to talk to the reader directly.
Somewhere along the way, the words started to mesh together. You're reading the words, but you aren't comprehending them. You couldn't if you tried right now.
After moving to the next page, it's empty, like the e-reader simply hasn't loaded in the next page, but when you move to the next one after that, the text loads again, describing a horrible scene.
Your organs are being ripped apart. Looking you because you're feeling pain. It's break everyone else nobody. You shouldn't be alive, but it wants you to be. Looking your bone in a long time, your bones apart. It wouldn't be alive, but you're feeling you shouldn't be alive until this crawling pain. It did. Your own cadaver is nailed above you.
These pages are a jumbled mess. There are coherent sentences in there, but some words appear to be out of place or hard to decipher at a glance. But you turn the page again. There's nothing. and then you turn the page again.
The devil is calling into your mouth.
A haunting but nauseating song plays while these words are displayed on the page, the user not really knowing what to do. After some time, the book changes page automatically and displays what's on the page.
You called administrator, dying on the spot before it could do anything to help you.
And as the book predicted, the user does just that.
Hi, I'm Lucky. How can I help?
The second video in the batch is actually another unlisted one, and is shown to us under the title Library 1999. In the video, a text-to-speech lady reads off the pages on the ebook provided.
Historians have the unique privilege of helping shape exactly what is looked back upon. We all view reality through a filter. We all view the past through the filter of a lens. Whether it's through writing, sound, or footage, the historian is just as cursed to present reality from a filter as the viewer is to observe from their own. An image, a video, even a fact is only forever as long as somebody cares. Like a game of broken telephone, over time the word of mouth devolves into fiction.
This video acts more like a philosophical discussion about how the past can be changed through different contexts and uses the examples like historians and their own biases. Well, that's what it currently says in this video, as of writing. If you are aware of Sepiatone's work and the obscure Animal Crossing OST videos, you are probably aware of something that the series used that was unique to others. That is the fact that when these videos became unlisted, they began to change and be completely different to what was initially uploaded. Different sound effects, new descriptions, different content within the videos themselves. Well, now that I made you aware of this trick happened to this video as well. After the release of the next two videos, this video changed completely. It was originally called Nufox Web Browser Preview, but had changed to GeistNet Web Browser Preview. Other minor changes to the video were made, like the voiceover originally being of a male rather than the female text-to-speech voice, and originally it was the call button rather than a volume button. Even the description has been amended to mock the viewer too. It's always been like this, right? Unfortunately, I don't have any images of the changes on themselves on my end, as I have tried the Wayback Machine for any chance this was archived, but to no avail. Most likely this original video was deleted or privated, and I have relied on other comments on this video for information, which I highly appreciate. If there are any future updates to the series, I'd recommend you all to keep an eye on these previews, because I am very certain these will potentially change. Now there's many questions you'll be asking. What the hell is this ebook reader that's being used, and what is NIL? Well, the next video will answer those questions for you. The video begins with an introduction of a cute little mascot.
I'm Lucky. Lucky the Fox.
The video continues with an explanation that the web browser has recently been upgraded and changed its branding from Ghostlight to Nufox. The grungy 90s typeface has been changed to a newer and cleaner logo that is reminiscent of the Fruitiger Arrow aesthetic that was all the rage back in the early noughties that briefly made a comeback before everyone decided it was cringe again.
What do you think?
I love you, Lucky. Thank you, Lucky. I hate you, Lucky. No, thank you, Lucky. Stop smiling. It's ugly.
Lucky also explains that you just can't stop the video from playing, and that any attempts to stop it or to turn off the computer will cause your PC to be damaged, which is very cool and awesome. I wish my browser could just destroy my PC. The video talks about a new feature that was barely being used called FoxNet, where it allows you to access all human knowledge rather than just accessing the World Wide Web like everyone else. One of those ways is Nufox Informational Library, aka NIL. A tutorial is played explaining how to use the menu, walk around, and it almost acts like a first-person video game. And then, Lucky shows you how to locate a book, which he does, in a very long, unedited clip of the guy walking around. I could show this to you in full, but I'm not gonna do that. I have more stuff to talk about. The video concludes with a showcase of how to use the book reader, showcasing the buttons being used, and a nice little send-off from Lucky.
We'll allow you to use your computer now, but be careful out there. Have a great day and have fun. Thank you.
Please don't smile at me like that.
This video is more so world building and actually provides us with actual answers regarding what the hell this series is all about. And also offers more questions like, what the hell is FoxNet? And what made them change from Ghostlight to Nufox in the first place? The description doesn't leave us much room for answers. Starting on January 1st, 2000, the Nufox web browser would play an annoying video the first time you launched it. There was no way of skipping this video, even to the point of not being able to turn off your computer. The browser's reputation had taken a massive hit after the rebrand due to the dramatic shift in audience focus and their corporate, almost patronizing attitude. Their new mascot Lucky became the epitome of everything wrong with the change, and later resulted in the quiet shelving of appearances. Despite the advertising, the Nufox Informational Library never gained any real traction. Consumers were confused about how it worked, and those who understood were off-put by its invasiveness. While it was open, users complained of nausea, dizziness, and dread. These symptoms usually went away after they quit. Please don't visit the website. It's not owned by Nufox anymore. Huh. Nausea, dizziness, and dread. What were the symptoms for butterfly rot again? After everything that we've looked through, it's finally time to talk about the final video. And oh boy, it's a fucking doozy. The video starts off with someone walking around the library as they finally manage to find a book to read. But from the first line, it becomes obvious that the book and the user have history together.
5 years later, the book had found you again.
They check the title of the book where it doesn't say anything, and after being spooked out by it, they decide to give Lucky a ring.
Hi, I'm Lucky the Fox. Go fuck yourself.
Well, that's rude. I'm kidding. Lucky would never do anything like that. He just simply wasn't available. Please don't kill the messenger. After hanging around the page not knowing what to do, the autoplay function gets enabled, and the book begins to quickly go to the next page. The user tries their best to go back to stop it, but they're unable to do anything, and any options that they try just don't work. The quit button doesn't even allow them to press it, unlike the others. They become more frantic as the story unfolds.
It was the book that had spoiled almost your entire life to you. You couldn't really recall any of it, but every awful moment almost felt expected. You chose to read nearly the entire thing in one sitting. At least, for the first 20 years of pages you did. Until you got to the part where you were reading the book. After that, it went into events that hadn't even happened yet. And they started to unfold before you like a self-fulfilled prophecy. Your life synced up exactly like the book had said it would. You were miserable. It's like every event that happened in your life was designed to torture you.
The book then begins to describe the user's job. A programmer at a startup company, but after the turn of the millennium, they soon find out that the company has become more corporate, and all the branding had changed all in a single day. Everyone then started to hate this person for whatever reason, and they even got demoted from a programmer to a moderator. Due to the stress, the user finally managed to get a room thanks to the boss of the company. But the book already knows this, and so does the user.
You haven't been reading any of this. You don't need to anymore. It's already happened. You tried to exit the menu, but the button didn't work. You tried to open the door, it wouldn't budge. Banging on the door, the other side sounded muffled, almost like fabric. The truth is that your room isn't in the office anymore. The truth is that this would have happened if you hadn't gotten this job. The truth is that it wasn't even your choice to panic. You unplugged your computer and smashed everything into bits and pieces with your chair. You can tell, can't you? You're looking at it. It's poured all over the floor in shards. The computer is both on the table and broken into pieces all over the floor. It doesn't make any sense. Every time you consider destroying it again, you remember it's already true. It gives you a headache when you think about it for too long. You tried to call administrator, but it was occupied with someone else on the line. Your boss doesn't know he's dead yet. It won't know for a while. Of course, you don't know that. You couldn't read any of this if you tried. You started spamming the call button.
And so the user does what the book predicted, spamming the call button, trying to get someone to call them to figure out what the hell is going on. But in a split second, the call button turns into a next page button and proceeds to display the final words of the video.
Suddenly, you couldn't take it anymore.
It fades to white as a familiar figure awaits for us on the final frame of the video. A lot of information is given to us throughout this video as it describes the life of another employee at this company. This company is the one that the person in NIL Incident Footage also worked at. The video also described a woman who was bullied and referred to as being unlucky as well. I think it's not a stretch to suggest that the point of view in this video is that of the woman, and in the final description of someone else being on the line being dead is that of the person in NIL Incident Footage. 2 people died that day, one through a sudden death, and another by their own means. However, in the description, we are finally given the full version of the story briefly provided to us in the NIL Incident Footage description.
On July 20th, 2000, a man was found dead in his cubicle. He had died of a heart attack, with rough marking around his mouth and noticeably red fingers. This incident
was never reported to the police, and there was an attempt at a complete cover-up from the rest of the employees. This, of course, had failed, and eventually the entire crew knew of his passing. Through a complicated process that benefited everyone, the entire original crew was let go, and the first office was shut down. Of course, the story has been spread around as an urban legend, but nothing more. There is no concrete proof any of this has ever happened. Wait, hold on. Only one person was found dead? But we have video evidence of 2 people dying. What gives? What the hell is going on here? Now that we have gone through all of the videos, I think it's time to try and put some of the pieces together, and to gather a semi-coherent story that's being discussed in this series. But first, I want to discuss some of the themes and elements of this series that I believe would come into play. The first thing that I will note is that of cognito hazards. This has come up time and time again regarding some of the more stranger elements of the story, like that of the butterfly rot, a virus that not only can affect computers, but also infect their user in real life, and cause their perception of reality to morph, until it's their time to become a cocoon and hatch. There's also Mask Holder, an entity that tries its very hardest to force itself to see your face, tricking you at every turn, and manipulating footage so that it can do just that. However, it's hard to tell what happens afterwards. There's also the book in the library, or the library itself, that's a cognito hazard as well. Something that even being in the library gives users very similar symptoms to that of the butterfly rot. The library has the power of precognition and clairvoyance, which I believe was hinted at in the library showcase video where the book Clairvoyance by C.W. Led Beta is on display. What beating the lead? No. Another interesting tidbit that I have no idea if it's an actual reference or just something else entirely is the library itself, where it's huge and sprawling with tons and tons of books just waiting to be read and be discovered, could be a potential reference to the short story The Library of Babel by George Louis Borges. In the story, there's a universe that contains a library filled with all possible known books in all kinds of formatting and character sets. There's actually even a website version of this with the same name where you can just look through the library at your own pace. So what about the characters in the story? Who is the boss? What happened to the people in the videos? And where did all of these entities come from? Well, to answer all of that, we would need to ask another question. What the fuck is GeistNet? One of the things that kind of stood out to me in the recent batch of videos is the previous name of Nufox web browser, that being GeistNet. I never really knew what Geist really meant, so I began to search any and all answers regarding this and how it could potentially connect to the series. Then I stumbled on some fucking real-ass German idealist philosophy that took me days to figure out what the hell it all meant. Side note, I am not someone whose main thing is philosophy. I've only read Mark Fisher, bits of Derrida, and Boladrad. I will get things wrong, and if there are people who know more about this than I do, then please let me know in the comments. We all good? Good. So, Geist is a term that was coined by the German philosopher Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. Now, Geist is a bit of a complicated term in English because it doesn't actually have a one-to-one translation from German to English. People have used it to mean ghosts, spirits, and the mind, and other aspects, but there isn't a perfect translation out there. The best that I can give you and would fit well with this video would be spirit/mind. In terms of how Hegel referred to Geist, it was the main driving force of his philosophy that he describes in the book Phenomenology of Spirit. Geist has been referred to people as the collective consciousness, and others even refer to it as some sort of cloud that things like culture, history, and even our own ideas are shaped by it. Even the term zeitgeist has been referred to as the cultural spirit or the spirit of time. So, what does this have to do with a fucking fox mascot and some masked dude wanting to see your face? Well, one of the interesting things is that on one of the unlisted videos, it talks about how historians view history through a lens, and there's another concept in Hegelian philosophy called the Weltgeist, or world spirit, in which where the entire history and its totality is in fact the process of the Geist. The key thing to note about this is that it's not static, but in fact dynamic, and that it's shaped through cultural means, aka the Zeitgeist. There's another theory that discusses how history is shaped by the tools of society called historical materialism that two German philosophers that were heavily inspired by Hegel called Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. Yes, I am talking about Marx in a video about a spooky web browser. Shut up, it's my video, I can do whatever the fuck I want. This theory also discusses concepts such as base and superstructure that is influenced by Hegel's understanding of the world spirit, but focuses more on how the tools of its society shape the cultures of its own society as well, and any struggles between these two understandings can give birth to historical changes, but only via the tools that were given to them by their predecessors. What the passage in the unlisted video represents is that through culture, for example games like Broken Telephone, that this history can be distorted. There are other ways that this can be done, like misinterpreting facts, the biases of the historians, leaving out key facts, and even covering up what really happened. Remember what I said earlier about the unlisted video being changed? This is that distortion happening in real life. And also, I left something out. There is a passage in the video that describes the events on the 20th of July, and in the original version, it mentions 2 deaths. One of a heart attack, and the other of a suicide. In the latest iteration of the video, the mention of the second death is gone. So, here's my wild theory. Nufox has the Foxnet, where all human knowledge can be accessed through it. And it is here where the entities that affect the mind and body, like Mask Holder, the Library, and the Butterfly Rot, all originate from. The Foxnet, like some interpretations of the Geist, is a cloud where anyone can access. Also, remember what the book said about how the room isn't in the office, and also what Mask Holder said in the unlisted video?
That's because your room isn't your house anymore.
Well, what if there was an ability that allowed users of Nufox to be transported directly to the Foxnet, where they are removed completely from reality and promptly forgotten about, either by the entities themselves or by something else? One of the key things I noticed through the recent batch of videos is the mentions of the boss. Whenever everyone refers to the boss, they refer to it as it. That's kind of strange, really. Usually if you want to refer to someone without stating their gender, you probably would use they, but not it. Plus, the company was very progressive in the year 2000. Another point to consider would be Lucky the Fox. Foxes in folklore are known to be shapeshifters and tricksters, especially in Japanese mythology, so what if the boss and Lucky the Fox are one of the same, and that it also comes from the same place where all the other entities came from as well? An entity that's trying to connect its realm to a different dimension via this random web browser, and is allowing all of these cognito hazard adjacent creatures to wreak havoc on its user base, and even on its own employees. I think it's hard to ignore the fact that through the mentions of the rebrand and how everything became sterile and the employees that died, they worked for Nufox, and the work that they were doing was having considerable effect on their mental state as well. It's early in the narrative, we don't know what's coming next, but maybe, just maybe, you'll have something to do with Lucky. So, this series is pretty good. I give it an 8 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a yellow flannel. I loved the pacing, the tension, the world building, and the sound design of these short little videos a lot, because it displays so much growth and talent that Sepiatone has. I was kinda sad that I didn't get to take part and discover all of the tricks and turns of obscure Animal Crossing OST videos, but now I get to take part in something I believe to be even better than that. I made this video because I wanted to share my thoughts and ideas about where the story could go and the themes at play here, and yes, it is pretty early, as I have said before, but I can't wait to see what comes next. Who knows? Maybe all of my theories are completely wrong and bullshit and pulled out of nowhere. Even if you disagree with me regarding my theory, especially surrounding the Geist, there's another angle I haven't really touched upon, like there could be a metaphor regarding the mascots and the sterile looks of Nufox with the recent adoptions of AI chatbots that keep getting added to web browsers like Firefox and Chrome. Even AI companies are making their own browsers that house their LLM chatbots to throw mistruths and lies at you. What matters the most is that you need to subscribe to Sepiatone and keep an eye out for any future videos in the Nufox series. If you also want to, follow them on Blue Sky as well for any updates or posts from them in the meantime. I hope you all enjoyed this little look into this web browser with me, and once again, if you want to see more videos like this, please like, subscribe, and comment on the video. Now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna actually crack down and finally do the video that I've been teasing for quite a while, so stay tuned for that. I don't know how to segue into this, so I'm going to say goodbye. Bye-bye.